Hey guys, welcome to a review of Kingdom Chapter 544 and Chapter 545. Let's get to it! We're going to run through Chapter 544 pretty quickly. The recruits. The recruitment process and their training has proven extremely successful. Training regiments from the veterans of the High Shin unit has proven that the recruits will know what to do in a high-stress situation. And just the fact that it was so hard to get into the High Shin unit, that they required so much endurance and stamina and everything, that they was shown to be able to survive being trampled on horses. This guy got trampled on a horse. Now, I thought that was a little ridiculous at first, but I looked it up, and horse around a mid-sized cavalry is about 1,200 pounds. So that's 300 pounds per leg. Yeah, it's kind of like you're going to get messed up, which he did, but it's very survivable. 300 pounds, I think so. Now the Archer brothers, they save the day here. They really do. Jin specifically, but he tells Tan, hey, help me. You can shoot the horses at least, can't you? And the very next panel, we see two horses shot in the head by arrows. Now, we don't get a confirmation that Tan did that, but I'm very much assuming he did. And if that's the case, that is really good growth for him. Yes, he's not killing soldiers yet, but he helped a lot here, saving those soldiers and making an opportunity for them to get on top of the cavalry. The only question I have is when is he going to take that leap to kill actual enemy soldiers, not just their mounts? Is he going to get in a situation where he has to, or is it just going to gradually build up to that point? And this chapter started me thinking like, oh wow, Shin is actually going to probably be ready for General next arc. He actually really will be. And let me tell you why. One, Shin perceived that gyou-un was testing the High Shin unit, trying to make them have a weakness by sending in the cavalry. And also, Shin trusted his troops to be able to handle the situation. And I think that's important that he was able to trust them, because a commander over many people is not going to be able to control and dictate every situation of what his troops does. Because if you're going to try and control and dictate everything on 20 or even 30 things, it's going to be really hard to juggle, and somewhere is going to suffer. And the fact that Shin told Tan, no, this is what we should do strategically. He made a strategic decision for an army, a section of his army that's clear down the line that he can't really properly see, but he trusted them, and he knew that gyou-un was probably up to something. He was right, because gyou-un was watching and he did nothing. He did nothing until the cavalry was dead. He was watching for something to happen with the cavalry to cause a chain reaction, and it did not happen, so he proceeded with a normal attack formation moving out for next chapter. And seeing Shin write strategically like this, when it comes to managing an army, it made me think, oh my goodness, wait a minute, if he's going to take command every once in a while, that means he's very much growing as a commander. And this war, he has such a big role in such a big war, he's definitely going to get some deeds. And if he's going to get some deeds, he's going to get a promotion. And a 1,000 man promotion for being an 8,000 man commander? No, that's too small. 10,000 men. That's what I'm thinking. And if he's leading 10,000 men, well, they're much more useful as not an incursion unit, as an actual army. If you want to make an incursion unit, you make a detachment of 1,500 men, and you send your best people in that detachment to try and assassinate a commander or take a point. No, 10,000 troops, as I said, would be much more useful in normal warfare, being commanded properly with strategy. And my thought was, well, if he's getting 10,000 troops, and he's growing strategically and commanding, well, what is that? I think 10,000 troops is enough to call a person a general. He is leading an army, not a small unit that can go sneak off somewhere. And before we go into the meat of chapter 445, yeah, that chapter pretty much confirms everything I just said. Okay, chapter 545. The battle is in earnest. Bloodshed is everywhere. Soldiers are killing each other. And we hear soldiers saying that the recruits may not know, but these are some of the hardest soldiers we have ever fought against. And because they got 2,000 more than us, we're probably going to lose. And Koyou-kai hears this and she says, not necessarily. Just because the soldiers are even in ability and they have more soldiers doesn't mean we're going to lose. It comes down to strategy when it's at this kind of situation. And she looks over to Shin and sees that they're doing actually well over there. And at first I thought it was because of Shin is just a beast and he has great ability, but we cut over to him and he's complaining about Ten's actions in strategy. He's saying, isn't it obvious that he's doing this move and that she told Ten not to send reinforcements to back up some guy, and she did anyway and they got caught out? So that immediately makes you go like, whoa, what's going on here? Shin is picking up all these things and apparently Ten isn't. What is going on here in this battle? And then we cut to Ten and she is completely frazzled. I mean, she is just anxious, full of anxiety, and she doesn't seem to know what to do because she's getting 5-10 reports in at a time of crazy events. She's giving an order and the result she expects from that order does not happen. In fact, it's worse than what she was even happening in the first place. So she's getting really frustrated and she doesn't know what to do and she can't think. Next thing we know, Koyou-kai and Shin is inside the tent where Ten is. Anyway, Ten looks up and she's like, oh, what are you guys doing here? The situation's horrible. And they say, well, that's exactly why I brought Shin here, Koyou-kai says. And Shin asks Ten, what's going on here? Don't you see that this and this is going to happen from this situation? Don't send these people there. And Ten's like, what? How could you possibly? And guess what? Shin was right. It happened. And basically from there, they talk, and then Shin gets into command because instinctually he understands the enemy. And let's talk about the enemy a little bit. This guy, gyou-un, he is a powerful instinctual general. He was trained by a strategist, a very well-known strategist. So he's an instinctual general that knows all the tricks of strategists. And I gotta say, we know from the past that instinctual generals very much trump strategist generals, or at least they can very much trump strategist generals. And we get that from Duke Haiyu. Duke Haiyu he went into a whirling vortex of soldiers, got to Riboku, and you know what? He would have defeated and killed Riboku if it wasn't for Hoyuken. You know that as well as I do. Riboku would be dead by the hands of the Duke if it was not for Hoyuken. Anyway, so we've definitely seen that instinctual generals can trump strategists, and it's said in this chapter that the more strategist-minded the commander is, the more they fall into Gyou-un's traps. So I cannot blame Ten at all for what's happened in this chapter because, well, one, she's getting 10 reports and reports of her actions failing one after another. I would get totally frazzled in that kind of situation and not know what to do. So I don't blame her at all. It's a horrible matchup. Honestly, it's like taking a rock Pokemon and putting it up against Blastoise. It's just not going to work. So, Shin in command. I can't remember the last time Shin was in full command. I think the last time was before Ten joined the High Shin unit. This is insane. We're finally getting him back in a leadership role. I mean, he's led small groups before and made decisions, but he hasn't controlled, he hasn't looked at the board and said, okay, you go here, I'm going to maneuver around the enemy this way. No, he hasn't done that in a very long time. And I'm really excited to see how he has developed, especially as an instinctual leader, and how this is all going to play out. In this chapter, just like the last chapter, how I started thinking, oh wow, he's showing some progress. He really could be general by next arc. Well, if he's going to be commanding the board as a leader, as the strategy and the movements that the entire army, if he proves very successful, he's going to remain in that role. And if he gets a promotion to 10,000 troops, and he's going to be like strategically fighting, leading his troops, like I said before, I think that's a general. So once again, I am excited to see what happens, because Shin's basically, this is when Shin proves himself. This is when Shin proves that he is capable of leading a large amount of soldiers against another large amount of soldiers and winning. This isn't going to be a battle of he's good against this swords person and he's a powerful warrior. No, this is about being a powerful leader. And I just can't wait to see the results. I know I'm saying this once or twice, but it's true. Alrighty guys, I'm not sure what else to add, so I'm just going to say thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe, and as always, have a good one. What was that hand shape? I have no idea. Bye bye!